All right, hi, and welcome back, Attorney Steve Vondran. We are talking politics, the legal side of politics in this video. So everybody's talking now the whistleblower complaint, and I was going, who's the whistleblower? Where's the complaint? What are we talking about here? You turn on the so-called news, quote-unquote news, and you can't seem to figure out the story here. So being your champion of justice and rights, we are here. I found the letter. This is to the Honorable Richard Burr, Chairman, Select Committee on Intelligence, United States Senate. This is the whistleblower complaint that everybody's talking about. So you get a first-hand look here. Since they don't seem to want to show you this on TV, I'm not sure why. But we don't know who wrote it. We don't know who it is. We don't know whose side the whistleblower is on. There was some suggestion that there was bias, but hey, what do we know? We just get the filter down, final drops out of the coffee machine. So here's what we have. Dear Chairman Burr and Chairman Schiff, I am reporting an urgent concern in accordance with the procedures outlined in 50 U.S.C. This letter is unclassified when separated from the attachment. In the course of my official duties, I have received information from multiple U.S. government officials that the President of the United States, that would be Donald Trump, is using the power of his office to solicit interference from a foreign country in the 2020 U.S. election. The interference includes, among other things, pressuring a foreign country to investigate one of the president's main domestic political rivals. The president's personal lawyer, Mr. Rudolph Giuliani, is a central figure in this effort. Attorney General Barr appears to be involved as well. Over the past 4 months, more than half a dozen U.S. officials have informed me of various facts related to this effort. The information provided herein was relayed to me in the course of official interagency business. So it looks like it's some kind of secondhand information. It is routine for U.S. officials with responsibility for a particular regional or functional portfolio to share such information with one another in order to inform policymaking and analysis. I was not a direct witness to most of the events described. Well, that's a problem, not a direct witness. However, I found my colleagues' accounts of these events to be credible because in almost all cases, multiple officials recounted fact patterns that were consistent with one another. In addition, a variety of information consistent with these private accounts has been reported publicly. So this is like secondhand information. I don't know how much you can really trust something where you don't have personal knowledge of the facts. It's almost like a hearsay issue. Let's keep going. I am deeply concerned that the actions described below constitute a serious or flagrant problem, abuse, or violation of law or executive order that does not include differences of opinions concerning public policy matters, consistent with the definition of an urgent concern. This person sounds like they're a lawyer, perhaps. I am therefore fulfilling my duty to report this information through proper legal channels to the relevant authorities. I am also concerned that these actions pose risks to the United States national security and undermine the U.S. government's efforts to deter and counter foreign intelligence in U.S. elections. What else do we have here? Let's go over here. Let me come up here a little bit. To the best of my knowledge, the entirety of this statement is unclassified. When separated from the classified enclosure, I have endeavored to apply the classification standards outlined in Executive Order EO 13526 and to separate our information that I know or have reason to believe is classified for national security purposes. This really sounds like a lawyer wrote this thing. That's my first impression. If a classification marking is applied retroactively, I believe it is incumbent upon the classifying authority to explain why such marking was applied and to which specific information it pertains. The July 25th presidential phone call. Early in the morning of July 25th, the president spoke by telephone with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. I do not know which side initiated the call. How do they even get this information of a phone call? That's one thing that really fascinates me. Is I thought the president's call would be one president to another, you would think would be private, but apparently not. This was the first publicly acknowledged call between the two leaders since a brief congratulatory call after Mr. Zelensky won the presidency on the 21st of April. Multiple White House officials with direct knowledge of the call informed me after an initial exchange of pleasantries, the president used the remainder of the call to advance his personal interests. Namely, he sought to pressure the Ukrainian leader to take actions to help the president's 2020 re-election bid. According to the White House officials who had direct knowledge of the call, the president pressured Mr. Zelensky. Here's how he pressured him. So somehow somebody relayed this information to the whistleblower who has not been identified, but looks like this situation of leaking and quote-unquote unknown sources and all that kind of stuff. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm not saying it's fiction. I'm just saying here's the complaint. You make up your mind. According to the White House officials, here's what they did to pressure Mr. Zelensky. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Initiate or continue an investigation into the activities of former Vice President Joseph Biden and his son, Hunter Biden. If you don't recall, there was something about Hunter Biden potentially getting money. So that was something the president was apparently talking about. Assist in purportedly uncovering that allegations of Russia interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election originated in Ukraine, with a specific request that that the Ukrainian leader locate and turn over servers used by the Democratic National Committee and examined by the U.S. cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike, which initially reported that Russian hackers had penetrated the DNC's network in 2016, and to meet or speak with two people the president named explicitly as his personal envoys on these matters, Mr. Giuliani and Attorney General Barr, to whom the president referred to multiple times in tandem. What's it say down here? Always check those footnotes. Some good stuff in there sometimes. Apart from the information in the enclosure, it is my belief that none of the information contained herein meets the definition of classified information. So whoever this person is, they've gone through the analysis of whether or not this is classified, in case that's obviously going to be a situation that arises. So they've done the analysis. There is ample open source information about the efforts I described below, including statements by the president and Mr. Giuliani. In addition, based on my personal observations, there is discretion with respect to the classification of private comments by or instructions from the president, including his communications with foreign leaders. Information is not relayed. I'm going to let you go ahead and read the rest of that if you want to pause the video, okay? So so you can see this is what it is. They're trying to hold Trump liable for some kind of wrongdoing against national security based on information that was provided, but which is believed to be unclassified, okay? So the president also praised Ukraine's prosecutor general, Mr. Yuri Lutsenko, and suggested that Mr. Zelensky might want to keep him in his position. Note, starting in March 2019, Mr. Lutsenko made a series of public allegations, many of which he later walked back, about the Biden's family's activities in Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. So you can see this is filled with a lot of stuff here. I'm not going to go through this. You get it. If you want to read it, just go ahead and pause the video. I'll go through slowly here for you, but that's basically what you're looking at, and I just wanted to bring it to you so you were one of the first that actually get a chance to see it, since they're not really showing it on TV, okay? I'll post a link to the full whistleblower complaint in the message box below if you want to read the whole thing, okay? But I wanted just to give you a general gist of that, keeping you posted. Attorney Steve, the legal side of politics. Have a great day now. Got to get back.